If you told Jake Miller that one rainy Thursday night would change his entire life, he would have laughed. Life for him was predictable: work, pick up his son, cook dinner, sleep, repeat. Jake wasn't the kind of man who believed in miracles. Not since his wife left 2 years ago, leaving him and their little boy, Ben, to figure things out alone. Since then, every day had been a quiet battle between exhaustion and hope. But sometimes, life doesn't ask permission before it turns everything upside down. It was pouring that night, rain hitting the windows like pebbles. Jake was in his small kitchen, scrubbing the same plate for the third time while the news hummed in the background. Ben, 8 years old and all energy, sat cross-legged on the living room floor drawing his favorite superhero. Then, 3 knocks. Loud. Fast. Desperate. Jake froze. Ben looked up. "Dad, someone's at the door." It was almost 10 p.m. Nobody ever came that late. He dried his hands, walked carefully to the door, and opened it. What he saw made his stomach twist. 2 little girls stood there, maybe 16 years old, identical in every way, same brown curls plastered to their cheeks, same frightened blue eyes. Their clothes were soaked, their little hands clutched together, and their lips trembled from the cold. The taller one spoke first, voice shaking. "Please, sir, can we wait inside? Our mom said she'd come right back." Jake blinked. "Where's your mom now?" "She said she had to get help," the smaller twin whispered. "She told us to wait by this house." Jake stepped onto the porch, scanning the street. Only darkness, the sound of rain, and an empty road. No car. No one walking. Just 2 terrified girls. Something deep inside him, a father's instinct, kicked in. "Okay, come on in, both of you. You'll get sick out here." They hesitated for half a second, then stepped inside. Water dripped onto his floor, leaving tiny puddles as they shuffled closer to the warm light of the kitchen. Jake grabbed 2 towels, wrapped them up, and poured warm cocoa in 2 mugs. They cupped them like treasures. "What are your names?" he asked softly. "I'm Lily," said the first one. "And I'm Lucy," said the other. Jake smiled. "Lily and Lucy. That's easy to remember." Ben peeked out from the living room, eyes wide. "Dad, who are they?" "Just some friends who need a place to stay for a bit," Jake replied. "Go grab some blankets for them." "Okay, buddy." Ben ran off, happy to help. As the night went on, the rain only got heavier, and the twins grew sleepier. When Jake called the police, they said no missing child reports matched 2 6-year-old twins. They promised to look into it. That was all. Jake sighed and set up the couch with blankets. The girls curled up together, clutching each other's hands even in sleep. Jake stayed awake longer than he should have, sitting at the kitchen table, staring at the quiet storm outside. Who leaves 2 kids in the rain like that? He didn't know it then, but that question was the beginning of everything. The next morning, sunshine broke through the clouds. The girls woke to the smell of pancakes, Jake's weekend tradition. Ben was already chatting away. "I made this one look like a superhero mask." Lily giggled, and Lucy clapped. It was the first time Jake had heard them laugh, and for a moment, his little house felt alive again. He called the police again, still nothing. He posted on local social media groups. No one recognized them. So he waited. One night turned into 2. 2 nights into a week. Every evening, he told himself they'd be gone soon, but every morning he found their shoes by the door, their laughter in his kitchen, and their little drawings taped on the fridge next to Ben's. The 3 kids bonded instantly. They built pillow forts, made up superhero names, and fell asleep in a tangle of blankets and giggles. Jake found himself smiling again, really smiling, for the first time in years. But he couldn't ignore reality. He didn't know who these girls were or why their mother hadn't come back. And every time he asked, their answers were the same. Mom said she'd find us soon. 2 weeks later, a letter arrived in Jake's mailbox. No return address. Just his name. He tore it open and froze. Inside was a photo of the twins, smiling beside a woman with auburn hair and green eyes. And a note. If you're reading this, please take care of my daughters. I can't come back right now. I'm sorry. Jake's pulse raced. There was no signature, no phone number, nothing. He took the photo to the police, but again, no luck. Maybe she's in trouble, the officer said. Could be running from someone. That night, as Jake tucked the kids in, Lucy whispered, "Mommy said bad men were looking for us. That's why she left." Jake froze. Bad men? He wanted to ask more, but Lucy had already drifted to sleep, clutching her sister's hand. The next day, a black car drove slowly down their street. Jake noticed it from the window, tinted windows, expensive, too clean for this neighborhood. It stopped right in front of his house for a few seconds, then drove off. He couldn't shake the feeling someone was watching them. That night, he barely slept. He wasn't rich or powerful, but he'd protect those kids with everything he had. Weeks passed. The twins became part of the family. They called him Mr. Jake, then slowly, just Jake, and sometimes, when they were tired, Dad. Every time they slipped and called him that, something inside him melted. Ben adored them. His loneliness vanished. He had sisters now, laughing, drawing, filling the house with noise and joy. For Jake, who'd been living in silence for so long, it was like life had color again. But in the back of his mind, he knew it couldn't last forever. Then, one morning, everything changed. Jake was fixing a neighbor's car when a sleek black SUV pulled up. A woman stepped out, tall, confident, in a navy coat and heels that didn't belong anywhere near an oil-stained driveway. Her green eyes found him immediately. "Mr. Miller?" she asked. Jake wiped his hands. "Yeah. Can I help you?" She hesitated, then took a breath. "My name is Grace Turner. I believe you've been taking care of my daughters." Jake's chest tightened. "Lily and Lucy?" She nodded, eyes glistening. "Yes. I've been searching for them for weeks." Jake stared at her, confused. "You left them here. You sent a letter?" Grace looked stunned. "A letter? I never sent any letter." For a moment, neither of them spoke. Grace explained everything in a trembling voice. She was the CEO of a large real estate firm, a millionaire, though she didn't flaunt it. But a month ago, someone inside her company tried to sabotage her, using her daughters as leverage. She had to disappear until the police could guarantee their safety. She had left the twins with her driver that night, the one man she trusted. But he never came back. He'd abandoned them on Jake's porch. Grace's voice broke. "I thought they were gone forever." Jake stood there, stunned. All this time, he'd thought the girls were lost, maybe abandoned. But they'd been caught in something much bigger. He motioned toward the house. "They're inside. They're safe." Grace followed him in, and the moment the twins saw her, everything stopped. "Mommy." Grace fell to her knees, arms open. "My babies." They ran to her, crying and laughing all at once. Jake looked away, swallowing the lump in his throat. He should have been happy, and he was, but there was also a deep ache. He knew what came next. Grace turned to him, tears streaking her cheeks. "I don't know how to thank you. You saved them." Jake shook his head. "They saved me, too." The next few days were a blur. Grace stayed to tie up legal matters and work with the police to capture the people who'd betrayed her. Jake helped however he could, though his heart grew heavier. When it was time for them to leave, the twins clung to him, crying. "Can't we stay, Dad Jake?" Lucy sobbed. Grace knelt beside them. "Sweethearts, we'll come visit him, I promise." Jake forced a smile. "Hey, you're gonna be fine. You've got your mom now." They hugged him one last time before the SUV drove away. And then, the house was quiet again. Too quiet. Ben stared out the window. They're really gone. Jake nodded slowly. Yeah, buddy. But they'll be okay. Days passed. Then weeks. Life slipped back into routine, but it didn't feel the same. Jake kept the twins' drawings on the fridge. Some nights he caught himself making extra pancakes before remembering it was just him and Ben again. Until one morning, a knock came on the door. Jake opened it, and there stood Grace. This time, she wasn't in fancy clothes, just jeans and a sweater, hair pulled back. The twins ran past her and straight into his arms, squealing, "Dad, Jake!" Jake laughed, eyes stinging. "You came back." Grace smiled softly. "We missed you." She looked around the little house, her expression warm. "I've been thinking a lot about what you did. You didn't just keep my daughters safe, you gave them love when they needed it most." Jake shrugged, embarrassed. Anyone would have done the same. Grace shook her head. No. Not everyone would have opened their door that night. Then she handed him an envelope. Inside was a deed to a house. A beautiful one, not far away. Jake blinked. "I can't accept this." Grace smiled. "It's not charity, Jake. It's gratitude. You gave my girls a father's love when they were scared and alone. Let me give something back." He hesitated, emotions tangling in his chest. Then Lily tugged his sleeve. "Now we can all have pancakes together." Jake laughed, shaking his head. "Guess I don't have much of a choice, huh?" Grace chuckled. "Guess not." A month later, that new house was full of laughter again. Jake's small family had grown. Grace and her daughters became part of their lives, slowly but surely. The kids played together every day, and the adults found themselves talking late into the nights, about life, about fear, about second chances. Love doesn't always come when you expect it. Sometimes, it knocks on your door in the rain. Jake had opened his door to two lost little girls, and somehow, found his way back to happiness. As for Grace, the millionaire who had everything, she realized she'd been missing something money could never buy: a home filled with warmth, pancakes, and the sound of laughter echoing down the hallway. Years later, when people asked Jake how he met his wife, he'd smile and say,